Greetings. I was asked to put this video together for my good friend Rodney for his website. You will excuse me if I appear a bit nervous. This particular subject I have not spoken to anyone on camera before, but I'll do the best I can from what I'm about to relay to you. Some years ago, I used to do a lot of flying stateside from coast to coast, and I used to always sit in the rear of the aircraft. As a security consultant, I can tell you that it is the safest place, part of the aircraft should it go down. But anyway, I would also try to look for pilots, and pilots that were also taking this flight. They were in uniform, easily recognizable, and were getting a free flight, to and from wherever. And they would also tend to sit in the rear of the aircraft. During one of these travels, I sat adjacent to one of these pilots, and he had a lot of stripes on his shoulder, so I assumed he, was kind of high up there. Anyway, he was a nice gentleman, polite and at first, and I asked him, have you ever taken any polar flights before? And he said, oh, sure. I've flown numerous polar flights over the years. I used to work for SAS Airlines as well as some others, and I've done it many times. And I then asked him, so when you fly these polar flights, do you fly directly over the North Pole? And he then all of a sudden got defensive on me, and he said, well, wait, what are you asking me these questions for? He's looking around to see who else was paying attention. And I said, it's a very interesting subject to me, and I'm just curious. He said, look, you cannot, when pilots fly northern polar flights, they cannot fly directly over the North Pole. There is no North Pole. You fly around the pole. Why do you fly around the pole? Because there's a big frickin' hole up there. You cannot fly over the hole. And he said, but from the way that you're asking me these questions, I assume you already have heard some things about this. And I said, absolutely. And so he told me that he's actually flown around this lip of this opening of this hole, this enormous hole in the north. And he said if you tried to go further in towards this hole of this lip, over around the edge of this lip, then or into, all of your instrumentation would start to go haywire. And he said so you just couldn't do it, because it would be like flying an aircraft through outer space, as he put it. So he said you fly around the poles. We then spoke a little bit more on this subject. He did also tell me before we exited the aircraft, he said, just so you know, I will refuse to admit anything I told you was true. I will deny everything if ever you should say to anyone that I told you this. And he said, why? Because I like my job. I work for Delta Airlines now. And he said, not all pilots, but many pilots know of this opening in the north. And he says, I don't want to lose my job or anything of that nature. So he said, I will deny it. And just so you know. And he currently was working at that time for Delta Airlines out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and said he was living in Rock Hill, South Carolina, at that time. And I did not get his name, but I wanted to relay this information to you as it was told to me. And I find this subject extremely interesting, even to this day. And so take it, this information with what you will, as you wish, and enjoy. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.